Bottles Powerhouse. Oh yeah.
Hey everybody, how are you? This is Pato, the Ghost Rider, welcoming you to another episode of Pato's Powerhouse. Give me a break. I'm just feeling a little bit better. I mean, I've been down with the very bad, I would say flu, or maybe a horrible head cold, but no, I felt like the flu, and it took me all week to shake off. And I still haven't shaken it off completely. But what can I say? I'm still hanging in here. Well, anyway, today's episode, I'm going to talk about change. Why? Well, because I'm at a crossroad right now, or at a fork in my... Well, actually, I've already chosen, obviously, this morning. But as you know, Pato's always a hard-working mofo, so... I'm always doing the two-job thing, and well, today I put in my resignation in one of them. Now, I've been working here for the last 3 years, and quite honestly, this is the one where I can take a break like I am right now and podcast. So that means that my whole routine is going to be changed. Which means now I'm gonna have to make different routines, which is good, I guess, right? I mean, change is inevitable, and if we learn to embrace it instead of fighting it, I mean, it's easier on us, obviously, because, well, change is gonna happen whether we like it or not. But dang it, it's hard. I mean, you know, I like this place. It's been a part of me for 3 years, and I think it's this week and next week where I'll be hopefully they'll let me do next week. I put in my resignation, and next week when I go pick up one of my final paychecks there, they'll let me know. I mean, I'm assuming they'll let me do it. I mean, they usually don't find people very quick, but you know how things are. So definitely I hope I get the chance to do one last episode next week here, because it's kind of like become my routine where, you know, I'm at work, I take my lunch break, and I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to go hide in the break room. I take my break usually at this time when nobody's here, and the few people that hang around the break room with me, they know what I'm doing, so they usually just mind their own business. They keep quiet because they don't want to go on record. Basically, they don't want to be on my podcast, which is fine, you know. I don't need you. Nah, just bottom line is, it's interesting. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about this week. You know, change. It's funny because when I first started podcasting, believe it or not, the first ever podcast, which of course it's no longer available because I deleted it, which I feel kind of stupid for doing that now. But bottom line is, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm still getting better. There's still coughing and maybe a sneeze here and there. But the first podcast I've ever recorded was here. Because it was here where I threw a fit when someone took the last of the coffee, and you know, I figured I had to talk about that. And it was back then when we were just getting started, and I was, well, you know, getting my toes wet, trying to figure out how this podcasting thing was going to work out, and exactly when I got hooked. If I remember correctly, I started podcasting this to Well, obviously to learn, and the other reason, because, well, I was supposed to do one, K-Dog was supposed to do one, and then we were supposed to combine, so basically the idea was to have like 3 podcast shows going, which it was Pato the Ghostwriter show at the time, then Cursory Overload, and then K-Dog, which eventually K-Dog might branch out to, and the idea was basically so that we would get comfortable speaking into microphones, or when you're mobile like I am, obviously we used our devices to podcast. And quite honestly, I feel very comfortable using my phone when it comes to podcasting because, well, I'm used to it. It's on the go. I can be anywhere. Of course, most of the time I'm here in this particularly place of work because, well, I can take my lunch break and it's pretty easy for me to just sit down, eat my food, and take 10-15 minutes to talk to my favorite people, which is you. And I hope you are having an awesome day, an awesome weekend. Like I said, I usually, by the time I'm doing this, it's already Saturday morning. And my breaks usually, depending on how hungry I am and availability, I usually take my breaks between midnight and 3 a.m. So a lot of the times when I'm talking to you is, it's the wee hours of the morning. It's very early. So I'm hoping you're having an awesome Saturday, an awesome weekend, or an awesome whatever it is, whenever it is that you're listening to this. And thank you for listening because, well, I know you have options. So, I'm moving on because, well, it's time. Obviously we don't go into much details here. A lot of things are aligning themselves, but which means now I'm gonna have to find a new time to sit down and record Pato's Powerhouse. I mean, it's bad enough now. I'm during the week I usually struggle to, well, get together and coordinate with K-Dog to record Cursory Overload. But now I'm going to have to develop new routines, new habits, which I guess is good, right? Learning new things. Old dog or old duck. Learning new tricks. By the way, Cursory Overload episode 18 is out. We had something funny happen on that one. Obviously we were both sick, all jacked up on meds. In fact, the episode is called Effed Up on Meds. But what I'm saying is there was an incident where I knew I was going to be sneezing and coughing and I killed my mic. But K-Dog could still hear me in his earphones. So he's just talking like, whoa, bless you, and then it all over your face, and then he goes, well, typical K-Dog stuff. So, but bottom line is, y'all can't hear that because I killed my mic. So then finally I tell him, I killed my mic for this. So he starts cracking up, and I mic in, and I'm like, hey, I killed the mic for that, but anyway, let's move on. I have a lot of fun doing that show. I have a lot of fun doing this, talking to you. And it's become kind of like my lunchtime routine here. So I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss this place. I mean, for the last 3 years, it's been a part of my life. I mean, it's been a routine that I do. And hey, I like the people. I like the people I work for. But time has come to move on, and that's what we're doing. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of a good thing, but at the same time, change. And I mean, it's like people in our lives, right? Some people are permanent, some people are seasonal. Some places are permanent, some places are seasonal. And to be honest, when I took this job, I thought it was only going to be for about 6-7 months. I mean, before I knew it, 3 years went by. It's crazy. Well, I'm sure you've been in similar situations. Wow, having a hard time talking. It's just thinking, I mean, where you took a certain job or you started doing a certain project. Maybe not even, it's not job related. Maybe it's a volunteer effort you do somewhere where you just said, well, I'll do this for this amount of time. Maybe it wasn't even your idea. Maybe it was service you had to do for the community, right? And it became part of you. And then after your time was up, you just stayed there in that organization helping out because you found your purpose there. And sometimes you stayed longer than what you were meant there to stay. I've heard a lot of cases like that where people that for whatever reasons they had to be of service to the community. They found their calling. They found a place where even though they were only supposed to be there a few weeks, it became relationships that lasted years because it became something meaningful in their lives. The same with jobs, part-time jobs. Wow, is that hour where all those people in their little Hondas with the mufflers that make a lot of noise are starting to drive by. I'm outside today, taking my break, enjoying it outside because, well, the weather right now, it's beautiful. It's one of the rare times here in the valley that we have this kind of weather. I mean, because if you live here, you know that even at this time when it's summertime, it's 100 degrees out here. It's horrible in the summer, but right now it's beautiful. I'm enjoying this weather. So I'm outside. Usually I'm inside the break room, but today I'm just outside, and some of the people that came outside to enjoy the fresh air looking at me like, what is this fool doing? And a couple of them know what I'm doing, and I've asked them, hey, you want to join in? Come on, I'd love to have you on the show. But they look at me like, no. Okay, fine, I understand. I don't think they think I'm just messing around. They think I'm just recording stuff. Or I don't know, maybe they're like, you know what? You're crazy, Pato. Although, it is what it is, right? Well, yeah, so I just wanted to bring this up. I mean, because I'm sure that you might be going through similar situations, maybe not about a job, maybe about different things, and change. We always struggle with change. I mean, we're creatures of habit. I mean, we like, especially some of us. I don't know, there are some people, though, that they like the variety, they like change. They don't like to do the same thing every day because they find it boring. But there are some of us that we need the routine. We need to know that this day, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing here. And it's funny. Well, as far as the weekdays go, where I'm supposed to go. Once I'm there, I know, like in my other job, let's say job number 1, I mean, it's pretty much routine, but not really because things could change. And when I go in there, I know that I may not be doing the same thing that like some people, they want to do the same thing every day, all 4 or 5 days, whatever it is. I know that, okay, this morning I'm coming in doing this thing, but tomorrow when I come in, I might be doing something totally different. And I'm cool with that. I can deal with that, but I mean, it's within that frame, I've learned to do that. Here, similar. I mean, I come in, I understand that some nights are very fast-paced, and we had a few where I didn't even get a chance to record a show because we were like, you can't take your half-hour lunch. You can only take a 15-minute break and come on, back to work. But, change. So, I was just going to say, if you're going through a similar change, hey, hang in there, I don't know, maybe shoot me an email. Tell me, what do you do to deal and cope with change, You can write to me at PD Ghostwriter, PDGHOSTWRITER @gmail.com. Or, heck, you can even leave me a voicemail, I believe, or